Thanks for being here, folks. I'm just trying to find a way to get out a nice medical update, say hi. So many people have sent so much incredible healing vibes and wishes to me. The GoFundMe, oh my God, which has nearly reached its goal. It's such a short amount of time. That GoFundMe was supposed to be for my CAR T therapy, and I had no idea I was going to have a 21-day emergency stint at Mount Sinai Hospital, even before the CAR T. And so I have been home now for 2 weeks, very shiny with coconut oil on my skin, but I do want to share, and I really hope if this reaches and gets out to anyone else with multiple myeloma, that we truly can go through our treatments, our chemos, all the things, that we can go through those things and really come out the other side, maybe with some less hair, but with some real glow up. I'm right in the middle right now of a paradox where, since I've been home, my blood levels that were really struggling in the hospital, getting my white blood cell count up, getting the immunity count up in my blood was taking really long at the hospital, and my platelets were really low. Platelets are what helps your blood coagulate, so that you don't, it helps with like bruising and stuff, that you don't bruise too easily. My platelets were so low that they wouldn't really let me walk in the hallway with help from the aides in the hospital. I later found out that I could walk with family and friends because it's more of like a liability thing. Kind of odd. But anyway, check it out. 2 days after going home and continuing like deep mantra practice, deep devotional work, somatic work, all of my stuff with like a really clear concentration, those blood levels shot up to gorgeous levels. Because I went to outpatient labs 2 days after going home. My white blood cell count shot up to like nearly a normal person, like nearly not immunocompromised. And my platelets shot up as well. All the bruises on my legs went away. So stuff like that just gives me so much inspiration and hope that I went through 4 days of grueling chemo. I didn't even have not a bit of diarrhea, not a bit of nausea, no side effects from it, aside from losing my hair at the end. The last day, I was gifted with just clumps of hair falling out. That was it. So my paradox is that's the life I'm living, going kind of like seamlessly through these really hard treatments, coming out the other side feeling quite whole, doing a lot of work to feel that. Craniosacral therapies. I mean, there are just so many genius people that I've met through the dance community that when we're able to get together and share our practices, some of which are coming right into this room, yay! The healing practices, the somatic practices that many of the dancers in the dance community know, these things mean so much when the body is really struggling just to have life force, right? So the amazing thing is I'm practicing and seeing how my body is healing in real time while also being like, whoa, things are getting destroyed and taken down at the same time, and they really are. So it's 2 weeks, and here I am thinking, okay, I'm going into CAR T. I'm going into this really radical it's a newly FDA approved therapy where they take your own lymph cells out of your body, your T cells. They genetically engineer them to fight, in my case, multiple myeloma, and they put them back in your body. Of course, your body's going to mount a little bit of an attack against them, thinking they're a foreigner at first. The doctors know about that. They mitigate all of it, and what you end up with are these T cells in your body that, one, fight the little bit of myeloma you have going on, but more so they surveil against myeloma for the rest of your life, hopefully, and they fight it for the rest of your life. So it's a way where if it works, I might not need to be in chemo treatments anymore and all of that. That's what CAR T is. And I'm kind of the perfect candidate for it because my body, my disease just keeps evading all other treatment. The disease is like, yeah, I got the, it's almost like my disease is like borrowing my own life force of like creativity and ingenuity. And it's just like, I'm going. So the kind of bad news, yay, thank you. I know the technology is amazing. And here's the thing. I thought I was going into CAR T this week because my labs have shown I have this bone lesion. So with multiple myeloma, it starts in your immunocells of your blood. These immunocells, we all have them. When you fight a cold, you have some myeloma cells that like go on the attack and fight viruses, fight whatever. I make way too many myeloma cells. They grow radically. They grow out of control. They crowd the bone marrow. And then they literally start to, they push everything else out. And they literally start to grow kind of tumorous bone. And they cut, it punches holes into the bone. So the bones are like break and whittle. But break and whittle? What am I trying to say? I just lost it. I lost some English there. Something happened. Weak and brittle. That's it. The bones are weak and brittle. But then there's another type of thing it creates where it actually creates like a tumorous bone. And as that tumorous bone is growing, it's also fracturing. This is some Stephen King level SHIT. So I have one of these on my sternum, like right at my xiphoid process. I have a bony growth that's pushing out. Now, I almost find it genius of my body that it grew there because I had one growing on my right arm. I still can't fully use my right arm. It grew very mysteriously. You could barely, I felt like a shoulder injury. It went on for months and really took the movement of my arm. It really took almost most of my arm away, my upper arm. This is screaming out in the center of my body for attention. And I think we caught this relapse faster because of the placement of the major lesion of this last relapse. So I got out of hospital 2 weeks ago, right? And within 2 days of being home, really on my last day of hospital, I already told the doctor, I could feel that thing in my chest active again. It's incredible because my doctors listen to me. They really trust me. They trust that I know my body so well. And lately, everything that I report is corroborated directly with labs and scans. Like everything I'm telling them, they can see. So sure enough, my labs are spiking up a little bit. Like the numbers are doubling, which is a bad sign for the marker that they're looking for. And then a PET scan showed that lesion is actually spreading toward my heart and kind of like touching my heart slightly. And that's the reason I was also having a lot of labored, like, yes, I'm so glad they listened to me. I advocate with incredible detail everything that I feel, which is also why I think it's important we know our bodies and we can use our own words. And ideally, if you have some education about the body, of which I do, to describe. Speak in your own language and their language a little bit about what's happening. But anyway, I've been having labored breathing, elevated heart rate the whole time at the hospital. They did not know why. My heart is healthy. They check EKGs all the time. Healthy. My heart is being crowded by this bony mass that is growing. And even just the slightest bit of crowding is making it unhappy. And thank God I've been a dancer and a fitness instructor my whole life. I'm sitting there with 125 resting heart rate and they're like, are you dizzy? Are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm used to this. I'm a performer. But it is laborsome. But anyway, because of this news, my doctor just told me it is not the time for CAR T right now. It's not safe. If those CAR T cells met with my myeloma cells, they're going to wage a war right there. The tumor tends to get bigger before it gets smaller because it's just inflammation. They're on the attack together. And one, that's unsafe for my heart. And two, That's not the way I'm starting to understand. The T cells, the CAR T cells that are coming in should not be meeting with a lot of resistance. The disease should be super low in your body so the CAR T cells can just flow out into your body, surveil and kill the little bits of myeloma that's around, and then they're there for you for years to surveil and fight after the fact, like on your own naturally. And if the fight is too hard at first, you also start to get a lot of the neurotoxicities and a lot of the really bad side effects that are unnecessary, that are bad, dangerous, and might affect how the CAR T sticks. So to me, CAR T is like my really final hope and grandstand, I believe, with all of my healing work. And I'll continue to do healing work afterward, of course, and try and rebuild my bones. But I'm glad the doctors are not rushing me into it. So what I am going to do, and what they suggest, is I get another stem cell transplant. It's another huge treatment. I had one in 2019. It gave me, many people helped me with that as well. And thank you, those who are here who helped, pay and just help me through that. I was in a natural remission for 2 years after my first stem cell transplant. They still have my beautiful stem cells at Weill Cornell Hospital. We're getting them over to Mount Sinai. We're waiting for health insurance authorizations. Of course, it's a little ridiculous, waiting for life-saving treatments, like all wrapped up in bureaucratic stuff. But I don't think about that. I keep my mind in the positive, very super spiritual high vibration, so I don't get bogged down with all that garbage. And I'll be going into Mount Sinai for 2 weeks for a stem cell transplant. 2 weeks, 4 weeks to recuperate at home until my white blood cell count rises and I have an immune system again. And then I'm going to go right into CAR T after that. So I did not imagine this road would be so long and so treacherous, but I am ready.